All right, I think we will get started. So hello everyone, and thank you so much for joining our business showcase. My name is Jessica, and I'm an undergraduate recruitment advisor for Lakehead University. We are so excited to see all of you here. So before we get started with our showcase, there's just a few housekeeping items that I'd like to speak to. So for starters, you'll see that everyone has been muted with the exception of our panelists. That said, we do welcome and encourage participation, so please engage with us. If you have any questions, you can ask them through the Q&A feature located on the bottom navigation bar. Alternatively, you're welcome to use the chat. We do prefer the Q&A feature. It just allows us to either answer your question live or type a written response. I will also just note that we are recording this webinar, and we are all working from home, so please be patient with us. There could be some unavoidable and unexpected noises in the background. I will now turn it over to our panelists for our very exciting business showcase.
Yes, thank you, Jessica. So I guess we could start off with the introductions. I am Dr. Asad Aman, and I teach marketing in the Faculty of Business Administration. So welcome all to the webinar. On top of my marketing role, I also am the chair of the undergraduate programs, years 1 and 2. And my main job is to advise and provide counseling to students with regards to planning of their courses and degree. So when you join us in September, I would be the contact person, or the chair would be the contact person for asking questions with regards to the courses that you would be taking in the first and second year. I guess we can go with the introductions. So we've got Dr. David Richards here.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Dr. David Richards, and I'm the Dean of the Faculty of Business Administration, and that is for both campuses in Aurelia and in Thunder Bay. And maybe I'll pass things off to Dr. Vandenberg.
Thank you. My name is Dr. Herman Vandenberg. I primarily teach finance and statistics and quantitative type courses at the Aurelia campus. And I'd like to introduce one of my best students, Avery Penman.
Hi, my name is Avery Penman. I am a third-year student for the BCom program, taking business administration at the Aurelia campus. And Joshua.
Have you got Joshua here?
Yes, and I'll conclude the intros. So my name is Joshua Swearingen. I'm a fourth-year student at Lakehead. I go to the Thunder Bay campus, and I'm also the president of the Faculty of Business Students Association here at Lakehead.
Yeah, thank you. So I'll just give a brief outline of how we're going to move forward. So first, we're going to talk a little bit about the university, Lakehead University overall, and then we're going to dive into the Faculty of Business Administration, primarily the undergraduate programs at both Thunder Bay and Aurelia campus. And after that, we'll expand on the experiential learning that we are very committed to and we are very big on. And then we move into the question and answer. So overall, the presentation is going to take around 30 to 40 minutes. And then we move into the formal Q&A session. So if you're hearing about Lakehead, I don't know. Let me just see. Yes, can you see the slide about Lakehead?
Yeah, it's not in presenters mode though.
Let me just. Okay. Yeah, so if you're hearing about Lakehead University the first time, we are a small to medium-sized university located in Ontario. We got 2 campuses, one in Thunder Bay, that's in the northern part of Ontario, and the other one is Aurelia campus, that's near the southern or it is in Southern Ontario. We are Canada's top 10 undergraduate universities, and we are actually primarily an undergraduate, and within that, we are amongst the top. We have been consistently ranked as #1 undergraduate research university, and we've been ranked like for the 5 years in a row as #1. But I think recently we are ranked #2, but we are still amongst the top in the undergraduate research. So that kind of tells us like how much we are focused in research, both at undergraduate and graduate level. In terms of our student body, we've got like close to 9,000 students coming from 80 different countries. We are very, very diverse in our student body. We got one-of-a-kind programs throughout the university, as well as the Faculty of Business. An example could be that of the Global Entrepreneurship program we got at Aurelia campus. So something unique, like combining the spirit of entrepreneurship at local level with international business or global business. One of the key strengths we've got is the small class size. So 90% of the classes are with fewer than 60 students. So for the first and the second year, I would say, yeah, it's around like 60 students in the Thunder Bay campus. But when you move on to the third and fourth year, it like this class size shrinks quite a lot. Like it would be like somewhere around 20 to 30 students, which is basically like, so that's like you could say one of the Lakehead advantages, where the faculty know the students at a personal level. So yeah, Avery, did you want to speak about that a little bit here?
Sure. So I came to Lakehead as a transfer from a much larger university. And so my first year classes, almost all of them were at least 500 students. So, and then coming to Lakehead into second and third year, it does drop down to 20, 30 students. And with that, you get a whole lot more opportunity for discussion with class, like within your class. And you get a lot less of a professor just droning on for 2 or 3 hours. It's interactive. And honestly, the biggest thing is you're actually allowed to interact with your prof. You don't have to go through their teaching assistants like you do at a lot of the larger universities, and your professors really become a resource that you can use to further your education and really, get into the meat and bones of what you're looking at and what you're trying to understand.
Thanks, Avery. Yeah, so that is our key advantage, we believe, and also our programs. Like you see, like the goal of a business program for students is to get education, to get ready for the workplace, and that's also something we are proud of. Like we got like 96.7% employment rate within 2 years of graduation. Something that we are very proud of, and it's above average when you compare it with the rest of Ontario universities. Joshua, did you want to speak to that?
Yeah, I can definitely speak to that. So for myself, I'm in the 4 years honor Bachelor of Commerce program at Lakehead. And within that, I decided that I wanted to major in accounting. But only come my second year, I had already been accepted a role at a local accounting firm. And that was at first full-time summer work, which then turned into part-time through the school year work. And now I have a full-time job opportunity lined up the moment I graduate. And I can also speak to what I hear around in the faculty, and it's not just accounting or specific departments, but all departments have amazing job opportunities the moment you graduate. A lot of my classmates are already employed at this point, and we have not even graduated yet.
Thanks, Josh. And one of the reasons why we have such a good employment rate is the experiential learning that we bring into our curriculum. So that's experiential learning both in classroom as well as the outside activities that we have. So basically, the whole idea is to make the students job ready once they the graduate. I think we'll touch upon this later in the presentation in a little bit more detail. But before going into the programs and the different careers you got, I was just wondering if we could have a small interaction with the audience. So I just got a question that we could perhaps share our ideas on. So what do you think, like, how is the business environment changing, and what do business graduates need to be successful in today's environment? So if you guys could, the audience could perhaps share their comments in the chat, that'll be great. Like, how do you think the economy is changing? How the pandemic has overall changed the business environment, the workplace? How technology is changing businesses and the processes? Anything on that would be great, or we could actually move forward.
I mean, I can chime in here quickly. So
sure, yes.
So something that I can say from being a student within the business department is, I would say the ability to communicate effectively, but then also utilize technology and be able to adapt to different situations. Those are, I would say, 3 key things that I've learned throughout my 4 years.
Excellent. Yeah, that's great. So it's basically you're saying the communication skills, the flexibility, and being familiar and comfortable with technology, right? So exactly. Yeah, that's kind of what we would want to have. Anybody else who wanted to share anything? Okay. So yeah, so in the current environment, of course, like, you need to have the technical knowledge that we provide, for example, accounting knowledge or human resource knowledge, and how that is applicable in practice. Our curriculum is also very much aligned with what's expected of business schools in terms of our sensitivity to ethical issues, environmental stewardship, and corporate social responsibility. So businesses, of course, have are like increasingly have to be sensitive to all these issues, and this is like a core part of our curriculum. Interpersonal and soft skills. So yeah, you would get to have opportunity to work in teams and develop those interpersonal skills. The knowledge of technology and its impact on the workplace. Yeah, so as I mentioned, like, how workplace has been changing so rapidly with both the advent of the technology and how the overall environment is changing due to the pandemic. So you would get hands-on experience in being comfortable with technology and understanding how the workplace is changing. Ability to innovate and entrepreneurial principles, of course, yes, like how the world is changing, how the businesses are changing. The big size is no longer, you could say, the competitive advantage. Like of course, like it is, but it's also the innovation. How much can you come up with new ideas and develop new business models and practices? So that's something very important, and we try to cover that in our program. And then overall understand how businesses work in the overall environment, and how they impact the overall economic development of a region, a country, and the world. So we like have a pretty holistic, like, macro level picture, as well as the meso and the micro levels. And we also are continuously updating, like making our curriculum very relevant with what is needed in the market. And our accreditation ensures that, or speaks about that. So we are AACSB accredited. So AACSB stands for Association of Advanced Collegiate Schools of Business. We are certified. We are one of the very few. So as you can see, like there are 15,000 business schools in the world, and fewer than 5% are AACSB accredited, and Lakehead is one of them. So that's like an international gold standard or hallmark of quality, you could say, of business schools, that only those schools are able to qualify who could prove that they are continuously innovating, keeping their curriculums relevant, and they have high class or world class faculty members. Okay, going on to the career options, perhaps Dr. Richards can speak to that.
Certainly, thank you, Asad. I would say that for as many business students that we have, there are that many career options. There's certainly not a single path for our graduates to take. And we have, our graduates are working in a variety of areas. Many of our graduates go on to be leaders within organizations, senior leaders, and certainly working in management. There are positions in accounting and financial planning, in banking. We also have our employees working in areas of human resources like labor relations or health and safety. We have individuals working in the technology sphere as IT system administrators or database administrators. We're also in areas such as communications and advertising and marketing. There are lots of different opportunities, and of course, those also include our students who go on to start their own businesses as well. So many options.
If I may, I would just like to add that if you look at the range of different careers that are shown in the slide, you can see that business will very broadly prepare you. And if you think you may want to be an accountant, but after a few years maybe working in accounting or as a financial analyst, or with your broad business education, you can easily move into another area. Don't feel that you must pick a specific path at this point and just follow that path. It's very broad, the education, and you can choose from a variety of careers throughout your working life.
That's a great point. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Vandenberg and Dr. Richards. So, Dr. Vandenberg, did you want to continue with the undergraduate programs in the Aurelia campus?
Okay, so I'm going to focus on the right-hand side. The left-hand side, if you are a college transfer student, you can go immediately into a Bachelor of Administration program. It's a 3-year degree, but it would only take you 8 months to do so. If you are in the Honors Bachelor of Commerce streams, then at the end of the 2nd year, it's an option for you if you're finding that the honors program is a bit too challenging for you. The 2 majors that we have at the Aurelia campus are Business Administration and Global Entrepreneurship. The Business Administration was our original major, and it's basically preparing you very broadly for a career in business, typically in a company. So you take a position in a corporation. There's also a demand for people who are entrepreneurial or even inside of an existing business to be entrepreneurial. And so we now have the Global Entrepreneurship major as well. And the reason it's global is because most businesses today have a website. And if you have a website, you are basically exposed to the whole world. Your business, if you're starting out a business and you have a website, you are born global. And I was just looking at some statistics earlier this week. The most common language used on the internet, not spoken, but what people use is English. So even people in other countries who do not necessarily speak or understand English will look at English websites. So if you're interested in starting your own business, then consider global entrepreneurship. And both of these programs are available with a co-op option as well.
Thank you. Okay, I'll speak to the undergraduate programs on the Thunda Bay campus. Around here, we've got, similar to Aurelia, we got two programs, the B-Admin and the HBCom program. So the B-Admin is a 3-year generalist degree, whereas HBCom allows you to have majors. Generally, you start off with the HBCom major, and then if you find HBCom major or HBCom challenging, then you could move to the B-Admin program. The HBCom, we've got 8 majors here, which are pretty established majors. Like you got accounting and marketing, human resource management. It's for the students who want to go into those areas. And we've got accreditations from the CPA, the professional bodies in accounting, and human resources, the CPA and the Human Resource Professional Association. And we also have like the finance, that's a very well-established major. We've got business analytics and information systems. So it's kind of a revamped major that we've got. And it is, we believe it's going to be pretty popular among students as we move forward, as the business environment changes and the processes evolve, how the big data is shaping business practices. And then we've got the marketing major. So if you're interested in on the brand side, the communication side of business, or the sales side of business, that's the major for you. And then we've got more general ones, like the business economics, the general management, and the international business. And then the co-op option is available in all these majors. The first year courses that we've got are pretty foundational. So these are common for all the majors. So you start off in the HBCom program. The first year is common for all the students. So we've got like introduction to management, some functional courses like accounting, for example, or the MIS. And then we've got the basic skills courses like the business communications and the quantitative courses. We believe these are very important courses to have in your first year to develop those skills that will help you as you advance in your degree into more functional courses. And then we've got economics, and also we have the electives. So you do have the option to choose electives from outside the business school that we think can give you a very good advantage. Like you could plan your electives in a way that you could also have a minor in an area that's outside business. For example, like economics or politics or sociology or computer science. For the first year, 60% average has to be maintained in order to move to the second year. Dr. Vandenberg, did you want to speak to second year courses?
Sure. So the goal of the second year is basically to round out your exposure to all the functional areas of business. So if there's, we started the first year, but the second year, for example, you also get exposed to finance. So you'll have some background in accounting and in quantitative analysis, and that will help you in a course like finance. After the second year, you will have, because you'll have had a taste of all of the functional areas in business, you may find that at this point, you in third and fourth year, you may want to specialize in maybe marketing or organizational behavior or some area. And so after the end of the second year, you're well prepared to make a choice. The second year is a little bit more challenging in the sense that you do have to maintain a 70% average to stay in the HBCom program. However, there's a fallback position that if you are able to maintain 60, you can still continue with a B admin should you find that the 70% average is a little bit too challenging.
Thank you. Yes, Dr. Richards, did you want to speak to the admission requirements to our programs?
Sure, just really quickly, the admission requirements are university level English and university level math, and a minimum 70 average in your best 6 URM grade 12 courses. If you are short the math credit, though, we do have an optional course in the first year instead of an elective, which is quantitative foundations that you can take either in the summer before starting or in the fall term of your first year.
Yes, did you want to continue
Sure.
with the experiential learning?
Yeah, thank you. And Dr. Aman had referenced our focus or the emphasis we place on experiential learning. And this is a really important element to the business program, both inside and outside of the classroom. So in classes, we have a number of different activities that occur. In your classes, you will study case studies. There will be certain exercises and activities that are taking place within the class that mirror what you will actually do if you were working in that area. And as well, in our upper year classes, we have a number of different projects that take place with a community partner. And I think Joshua is going to talk a little bit more about that later, but great way to do almost like mini consulting projects with a community partner and gain some real life experience. Outside of the classroom, we also encourage our students to participate in case competitions, to get involved in student clubs, and LUAC, which is listed there, is actually the Lakehead University Accounting Club. And for a number of years, they have been doing tax clinics as one of the activities that club does. And we also have a chapter of Enactus at the Thunder Bay campus, and I think they're working on one at the Aurelia campus. And Enactus is a student organization. It's an international student organization, and universities and colleges have chapters where the students apply business practices to contribute to community development. And so our Enactus Club has done some really fascinating projects and have actually won awards for those. We also have a co-op option. It's been referenced in a number of our majors, and the co-op, well, we'll talk a bit about that. Oh, actually right now. Yeah, so the co-op is a paid opportunity where the co-op placement is approved by the university and it is aligned to a particular majors. I see we need to update this slide because we have more majors with co-op now than are listed here. And typically students might do a short co-op in the summer after second year, but they would typically do a 12 or 16-month co-op between third and fourth years. And so if doing at least 12 months of co-op will earn you the co-op designation on your degree. And next, I'll talk about another program. This is the Work Integrated Learning Program. It was started as a 2-year pilot. It was funded by the RBC Future Lunch Initiative. It's now actually continuing for another 5 years. The pilot finished recently. And this program is really designed to help develop those soft skills, those skills that students need to prepare themselves for their careers after they graduate. And there is a part-time work placement. There's a mentorship component, and as well as a workshop training series. And with those, there are a couple of options. One, there is the the placement is either paid, or we now have an option where students can do the placement for course credit. So a couple of different options, as well as some newer opportunities in the summers to do shorter term placements as well. So it's a really it's a great great program that we're very pleased with, and the students have had a very good experience in that program because it's helped them to get a little bit of experience while they're studying as well. So, thank you.
Yes, thank you. Yes, Avery, did you want to speak about your experience with case analysis at Lakehead and other in-class activities and exercises?
Sure. So in the day-to-day actual classes you're taking, of course, you're going to have those as expected tests and assignments, kind of classic, similar to what you had in high school. But what's really special about the business program is your opportunity to do case analyses. And so it's what I would say is the closest thing to an essay, but a lot more fun to do. And it's you get to analyze a business or a problem, and it's very interactive with groups, alone with your professors, and you get to talk through problems that are actually being faced in the business world today. And especially once you get into your upper years, in third and fourth year, you get to see how all of your classes link together through those sort of case analyses. And that's something that I never experienced at the school I was at before Lakehead.
Yes, thanks, Avery. And about the case analysis, we also sometimes have experiential learning within the classroom setting. For example, simulations that we use in our courses. I can give example of my course that I teach in the fourth year marketing strategy class for the marketing majors. So we run an online simulation competition amongst the groups to capture the most market share, for example. So this year around, we are looking at like selling bikes, like manufacturing bikes, producing, coming up with the branding strategy, coming up with the ads for those bikes, and looking at different segments where those bikes could be sold, and coming up with the pricing strategy, etc. So it's a pretty hands-on experience that we have here in the marketing major. And on top of that, we got the Capstone courses, Capstone project that perhaps Josh could speak to, and yeah, and then Dr. Vandenberg could perhaps speak about the community-based projects consulting that we have.
Yeah, so I'll start, thank you, Assad, by mentioning the fourth year community project that is a part of all HBCom students' fourth year. It's a strategy course where you are divided into groups and you work with the City of Thunder Bay, or in my case, I got to work with the City of Thunder Bay and the Community Economic Development Commission within the city. And essentially, the city provides an issue or a problem or a project that they would like more insight on. And then students in each group then take the year-long course, and you focus on that one issue problem, and you try and provide the city with recommendations or a way to proceed in the future. And it's very interactive. You get to meet lots of people. You get to speak with a lot of people that are very influential within the city. And overall, I can say after taking it this year, it has been one of the best experiences in my whole 4 years.
Thank you, Joshua. I get to speak a little bit about the strategy capstone project that my fourth year students were in a few years ago. There was an electrical contracting business that the students were divided into groups, and by the time you're in fourth year, you've already done a lot of work in a variety of disciplines, and you're just about ready to enjoy the workforce. And so you have some skills, and in this particular company, They were struggling a little bit. They had a retail operation. They also did construction, and they needed a little bit of a sort of consultant type of work. So the class was split into groups. They analyzed the corporation. They went into the company a few times. They asked questions. They were careful to protect the intellectual property of the company. And then they made at the end of the course, they made a presentation to the executives, and the executives actually helped evaluate the students on their projects. So the students were involved in a real life business, and assisting in a very important way. There are also students that are involved in other areas. For example, in the Aurelia Community Development Corporation, they typically prefer to have a student from Lakehead University sitting on, say, their investment committee or on one of their other committees, and the student gains exposure to all types of businesses in the community and finds out what the real problems are that those businesses are facing, and gets to help out in a real way with other people in the community who are very involved as well.
Thank you. Yeah, about the extracurricular activities or options that we've got, Joshua, did you want to share your experience on that?
Yeah, so I know earlier someone had mentioned the kind of the tax programs that are run through LUAC. Although myself was not a part of LUAC, I did actually volunteer to participate in one of those events, and what we were actually planning to do was prepare international students' tax returns. So you get to gain knowledge yourself, but then you're also giving back to the student community at the exact same time. However, my highlight of my university career would have to be FOBSA, or the Faculty of Business Students Association. So this is a student association that you can join in your first year. We have positions for first years, and if you're very outgoing or you like to be able to represent students and be a voice for the students, I would recommend trying to get involved within this club. For example, some of the things that we did this year, even though we are in an online environment, we were able to hold coffee dates between students and professionals. So if they were looking to gain a little bit more knowledge about their area that they wanted to go into for work, or just had basic questions on different fields, they were able to do that. We sold sweaters to kind of give students a little bit of a sense of community where they go to, and that they're part of the business program, and they get to show that off and represent that. And then also our upcoming event, we have we are doing a webinar on equality with women in business. So we have all women speakers, and they're able to speak on their success and what it takes to be successful, but also work on those soft skills and hard skills that are beneficial to all business students. So again, I would recommend being very involved in associations or clubs. It really makes your experience all the much more.
I can just add on to what Joshua said just really quickly, because I know we're getting short on time. There are lots of opportunities to get involved in case competitions and student clubs. That you might notice on the screen, there's BOSS is there. That's the Business Aurelia Student Society. And one of the things that they ran some different events, but one of the things that we were able to do this year, being online, is have students from both campuses working together on initiatives, and that's been really successful.
Yeah, so I also just seen this, seen the question pop up in the chat, and if there's spots still available in September 2021. And the answer to that is yes. So how that works is, although the executive, so that's really the group of students that are running everything, are elected in April, there are still spots which are called representatives, and those spots do not get filled until September or even October of the following year. So you would be able to apply to a spot in in September if you wish to be a part of a club.
And if the question is asking whether or not we still have spaces available in the program for new students, yes, for sure. But yeah,
Okay.
I'm not sure. I mean, that's a good. I think it's also important to know that there are lots of opportunities to get involved in September as well in the student activities. But yes, yeah.
So that kind of concludes our presentation, and then we can open the house for any formal Q&A questions. Okay, David, did you want to answer that question? Are the spaces still available in the program?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. So so certainly, yeah, I think the application deadline through UAC has passed, but we're certainly still considering applications, and yes, so we're still open for business. What we will do is ensure that there are enough classes available for students if we have more students who are interested in coming, for sure.
I'd like to add a little interesting thing that happened to me about 2 weeks ago. This is sort of speaking to the, our research as a university and also employment, where they sort of intersected. I was with another professor out of the US. We were conducting a survey, a cross-Canada survey of investment managers. And so responses came from all across Canada, but there was a one particular one that was fairly local. And they contacted me afterwards and asked if there were any students in finance available who might be looking for work because they had a position open. So it's those type of connections between research and the community and employment that's one of the benefits, I think, of being in a small place like Lakehead.
That's such an excellent point, and we often hear from students that they appreciate the fact that their professors help them find a job, either by providing references, which is much easier to do when you know the student, but also because we do tend to be connected with the communities that, the local communities, but even broader than that, we're able to assist students in making those connections as well. And the fact that some of our students who've done co-op or done a work integrated learning or work integrated learning placement have actually been offered jobs at the end of those. And as Josh talked about, or with the accounting firms, our students are often working with the firms and have a job lined up well before they graduate. So there is another question here in the chat about whether the BCom is offered at both campuses, and yes, both the Honors Bachelor of Commerce and the Bachelor of Administration degrees are offered at both campuses. The majors that we have at the two campuses, though, are different. So if there's a specific major that you're interested in, you might want to look at that. But both of those programs are certainly available at both campuses. And yeah, I suppose I don't need to read your comments, Jessica. Just reminding everyone of our upcoming events, which is really important. Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't appear that there are any more questions. So let me just say thank you so much for joining our business showcase. We really appreciate your participation and we really appreciate your questions as well. And a huge thank you to all of our panelists. Thank you for sharing all of your wisdom and for taking time out of your day to chat with all of us. So with that, please don't hesitate to reach out to me following today's session. I did leave my email in the chat. And as we mentioned, there's lots of upcoming events, so we'd love to see you there. And with that, have an amazing afternoon, and we hope to hear from you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks.